4, 3, 2. I didn't notice that until I rewatched episode 2. So kudos to you, my friend. Hello, Earthlings. It's episode 3 of Haystack Hates Your Music, aka Haystack Hates Hardcore. We're not talking about that white man from that wrestling brand you may or may not know.
Hardcore Jesus?
No, Stephanie's husband.
Oh, Triple H.
Yeah, because like today's episode is Triple H, technically speaking.
Fair enough. That makes sense.
Right.
That hardcore Hearst Helmsley.
Yes, of course. Or Hardcore Holly, if you remember that particular individual.
Goddamn right, I remember Hardcore Holly. Hardcore Holly was a tough son of a bitch. Hey, listen, man. Hardcore Holly was he to put it like this, right? To us, he was just like a mid-carder during the like late mid 90s to mid 2000s, but to the boys backstage, he was the litmus test for the most part.
Oh no.
Yeah, like if you need to pretty much pay your dues pretty much in a match, you go against Bob Harley because he works stiff.
I'll say.
By working stiff, that means that, like, for lack of better words, that motherfucker hit hard.
Yeah, I seeing just the footage from way back when, it was like, oh, it didn't look that way the first time.
However, to put it like, however, on the other side of that coin, they did this method with Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar accidentally broke his neck. Double power bombing him.
Ah.
2 power bombs.
Ah. If the beast is watching, hi, love the beard.
Lumberjack Lesnar?
Lumberjack Lesnar, baby.
Brock Bunyan? You know the vibes. You know the vibes. You're very well aware of them.
Oh my gosh. Yo, I had one little warm-up question I wanted to ask you since it came up on the feed. And I'm like, oh, like if I ask Los this question, he'll be my captive for a bit. So I'll punish him with this. To use like hardcore music language, I'll punish you with this and we'll get started for real. Now, one young jock was on a podcast and they asked him about his career, his 20-year career. And I wanted to shoot the host a little bit of bail as I am also a podcast host. But what you and I are not is journalists. Because as we have seen with just like the influx and oversaturation of podcasts, all you have to do is have a decent Wi-Fi connection, maybe a mic, and then you're off to the races, depending on how like clouded up you are on social media and shit. And so I still think the blame should fall on the producer of the show. And if Shorty was the producer, oof. You know what I'm saying? If you can afford to book dude, I imagine you see dude's rate. And if you're wondering, dang, why does it cost so much to book young jock? Like make a few phone calls, shoot a few emails. Oh, also shout out to the Living Abstraction. We'll be going live later tonight. We love you, boy. Thanks for popping in. As a person who's just like in the mix and knows more than the average like fence rider or outsider to hip hop, what should the people know about Young Jock that they don't know?
All right. First and foremost, I lost connection just as you were going into it. However, I seen the interview. Well, I've seen a clip of the interview. I've seen enough of that.
As we all did.
And I already can
Lighting just changed part of me.
And I already
Gotcha.
know, and I already have an idea of what you were, saying here. And here's the thing, right? All right, I don't know if you 100% explained it, but there was an interview, some chick with a podcast. That's the thing. If you took away a lot of the podcasts, if you took away the podcast that just brought up the dumbass Twitter discussions that come up every Wednesday, we'd be down to like maybe a million other than 2.5. But I digress. Young Jock is being interviewed by this young lady. And she asks something along the lines of, how have you managed to remain relevant in 20 years or whatnot off of one hit song? And I heard that, and that solidified the theory that I had. Nobody born after 1996 fucks with history. Yep. That's the conclusion I've drawn to. Because the one hit that she's talking about is going down. All right. However, Young Jock is responsible for Dope Boy Magic. I Know You See It. Bottle Popping. He's still making money off Buy You a Drink. Like, Young Jock had a run. and that's the one thing I need folks to understand, or folks younger than me to understand. Young Jock had a run. It was a short run, sure, but nonetheless, it was a run. And y'all only know him for being on these reality TV shows in which I'm like, hey, it is what it is. That's usually how the careers end up sometimes. And exactly, it pays.
Good
Yeah.
money.
However, you can't disrespect Young Jock by just saying he only had one hit, because his first album, there wasn't really 100% much of a rollout, but It's Going Down was rollout enough because of the bike rep dance. That was enough right there.
That was a
That
moment.
song came out three months prior to that album coming out, and we didn't hear the second single until like maybe the week that album dropped. I love Sherry Dennis. At any rate, so yeah, the bottom line is, like, It's Going Down was a strong single, but again, then he had Dope Boy Magic, which was the back end song in the motherfucking It's Going Down video. How do you not remember Dope Boy Magic? Ducky?
Mr. Los, like the two records you mentioned, Bottle Poppin', Dope Boy Magic, radio records, yes?
Bottle Poppin' radio record, Dope Boy Magic, not commercial, but well known.
So like I want to point out to like folks, again, shooting bail to the host, unless, because like for those who don't know, Haystack West, good old Los, he's like, you cut him open and hip hop comes out.
I'm down for this hip hop shit.
Like real, like when you think of real hip hop, you think of good old Los. He and his relations are all up in that. So like I'm not surprised he can answer my question with relative ease. But for like weirdos like myself who have a hand in every pie, like without context, I only know Jock for Shorty Snappin' and It's Going Down. But in addition to that, I had one friend who was obsessed with Coffee Shop with Gorilla Zoe. And
I
that's one of
forgot
my
all about Coffee Shop. Thank you.
and just like that's all just a fucking classic. I don't care what anybody says.
Yo.
Our blocks, my nigga.
Like, and that's why it absolutely blows my mind that this chick fixed her mouth to say that, you know, she had that Jock only had one hit. And like you said, everyone in production dropped the ball on that one. Because let's not, you know, pin it on the hostess for a second, right? Let's just say that the hostess was just going with the information that she, you know, was given. In which, as a journalist, or if you're doing anything journalistic, let me say that, you do your own research. That's just rule number fucking one. That's journalism 101. Literally, I learned that in journalism 101. So, but but let's say, okay, it wasn't her job to do the research. Somebody is supposed to, like, that's literally their job to do the research for the host. Okay, that person didn't do their job. Let's say that the producer had to, you know, double check this, and fact check to make sure everything was correct. They dropped the ball on that. That being said, I don't think there was anybody in that, you know, production setting that was born after that was born before 2000. First and foremost, at this point, I'm old enough to say that, because if you were born in 2000, you're 23 now. So,
damn, we're washed.
Yeah, I'm washed. I actually said that to my uncle earlier. It's like, man, I mean, I get it. You're old, but I'm washed, bro. I'm not as surprised I used to be either. So, but yeah. So everyone dropped the ball on that instance, and that should be a very valuable lesson to not only them, but to everybody that saw that clip that is doing, you know, the podcast route. Don't, if you're going to have, you know, an esteemed guest like Young Jock, and I consider Young Jock an esteemed guest because, again, Young Jock,
he's still here. Most of his friends are not.
A. B. Young Jock is a very instrumental part of my teens. A very instrumental part of my teens. So, yeah, no. Young Jock got a personal, special soft spot in my heart. So, like, I'm not going to allow the Young Jock slander to prosper. Like, I'll let Lil Flip slander prosper. I don't know if you heard that story or if I even brought it up last episode. But Young Jock, the reason why he's still making money off Shorty snapping? Alright, so Dragonfly Jones of the Jenkins and Jones podcast.
I know him.
Love him. He literally, his mind works in a sense where you could take something that you can't 100% make sense of, but you just, you know, run with it anyway. And he can actually break it down so simple, like he's explaining it to a 5-year-old.
It's my kind of thinker.
Yeah, exactly. And he does it in the quickest way possible too. Like he'll pose a question that'll make you go, oh, that does sound ridiculous, don't it? At any rate, Dragonfly Jones posted a tweet, and it was a tidbit of a hip hop fact. Young Jock was not initially supposed to be in Shawty Snapping.
Who was?
Lil Flip. You remember Lil Flip?
Only by name.
Now who they want? Flip, flip, flip. Game over. Flip, flip, flip. Now who they want? Lil Flip got into a beef with T.I., and that was the last we heard from him.
Oh.
Exactly.
Scandal acknowledged. Scandal acknowledged, by the way. Just in case someone wants to be like, oh, by the way. Scandal acknowledged. Moving on.
Scandal acknowledged, but also still allegedly. Until we get it.
Don't sue T.I.'s lawyers. If you happen to be watching two civilians having a casual conversation, but yeah, exactly.
Also, I kind of don't want to believe it because I love T.I., but
a lot of my friends feel the same way.
If it is, it is, and I won't anymore. But like, I'm still bumping trap music from time to time. I'm sorry. That's a classic album. At any rate, yeah.
Lil Flip, huh?
Lil Flip was supposed to be because that's who T-Pain wanted on that song.
Say no more.
And Young Jock, knows Lil Flip or whatever. So, when they were around the area or whatever, and they saw Flip and they were together, Jock introduced T-Pain to Flip or whatever. Flip never dapped T-Pain up.
Oh, man.
Just kind of left him hanging. And that really hurt T-Pain's feelings. So, Jock's pretty much like, don't think nothing of it. Hey, let me buy you a drink.
Say that again?
Yeah, don't think nothing of it. It is what it is. Come on, let me buy you a drink. And Young Jock to this day is still getting royalties.
Oh, 7 fucking degrees of separation.
Yep. The butterfly effect. Imagine if Flip, actually dapped them up, show some love, so on and so forth. That Young Jock verse, imagine Lil Flip's Southern drawl on it. Would it have done the same numbers? Will Lil Flip still be still be relevant? The world may never know. Well, there's an alternate universe where that happened, but we don't live in it. So
you just spin kicked my mind. Hey, I want to say last thing, and we'll move on to like our main course.
Get the job in the face.
To all the hip hop heads who aren't maybe as cordial as good old Haystack, please know half of the people my age and below, from 5 to 25, don't know half of what you know because 1, you either thought nobody wanted to hear it, and 2, you kept it all to yourself. So 3, you don't to blame but y'all selves. Because literally now, here's a fun fact, Mr. Los. One of my favorite podcasts, the Going Off podcast, they reviewed 3 albums today. A David Bowie record, a BJ the Chicago Kid record, and the 2002 release of Conway the Machine.
2002?
Where is my mind today? 2022.
I'm about to say, I don't recall Conway the Machine being around when I was in the 5th grade, but but 22.
He was definitely on the corner doing something. I only bring it up though. I only bring it up because they gave it a 5, and a person like me, what?
The Machine, they gave it a 5
out of 5, and I'm the kind of person where if I'm not directly interested, I'm not gonna check it out. Everyone every person who loves hip hop loves Griselda, and I'm like, great. Hope they stick around for fucking ever. I'll come around to them eventually, but I'm lazy, and it's like if I know you're well loved, you're not going anywhere. So I'll take my time.
Yeah, because
so I'm like,
honestly, at this point, I'm a big Griselda fan because I'll just give you some names that makes me that makes it essentially the reason why I love Griselda. Wu-Tang Clan, DMX, Mobb Deep. That's the energy. You know what I'm saying?
In the
It's
review,
the
like the rap host, like because one of the hosts is a rapper and like reviews rap music for a living. It's like, oh, like sometimes like because like he was like, oh, I wish Wu-Tang was still doing shit like this album because that's what it was giving me. And like they were just shouting over each other with how much they loved the album. And I'm like, with this kind of energy, I have to check out the project. I even doubled back to the Fantana review because I know that he and Conway had a conversation during like the lockdown. And I wasn't sure if it came out before or after the album, but Fantano gave it a 9. He was wearing like the yellow flannel, so I know he liked it. And so I'm like, I need to put this shit on while I'm like cooking my beans. And I felt like I was like I felt I was in the trap, like cooking those some dope, cooking those beans, listening to that fucking Conway.
I'm telling you, dog.
Just through the house going,
you know, West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher, fucking Stove God. No, I tell you what, Stove God Cooks. His raps are comical. It's the same, you know, like drug rap or whatever, but the drug rap is comical. He had one line that goes, "And I ain't bring the chip home, bitch. I brought a brick home." I told it to the flip phone, had the feds in there tiptoeing, left some dirty pots and a note that said, "I've been gone." Me and Kinez laugh at that line every time we hear it. Left some dirty pot because we just imagine the imagery like the feds like they like tiptoe in the crib. He's not even in the crib. They get to the kitchen and they see a note and it just says, "I've been gone, dash stove." Fucking lieutenant slams out a note. Damn it, we lost him again.
I will say this. I have to like tell this story now because one of my favorite fucking things I didn't believe was true until recently. George Clinton of Funkadelic Parliament told this story about how they got like a shit ton of like fake money. I forget how they acquired it, but they had so much like fake money that they were like putting it on the walls. And so the feds came looking, but they only found out because the cops told them. They're like, "George, big fan, love y'all, hide the money now." And so like they packed it up and they got the fuck out of Dodge. Yeah. And I'm just like, bro, you know you're the king if like the pigs rock with you, bro.
Yeah,
it's like, bro, you gotta bounce. Like the feds is coming. They know you got the bread.
Quick side note before we start. Machine Gun Funk by Biggie.
Yeah.
You ever heard that song without the Parliament sample?
I don't want to.
It's a deflating energy. Like literally like you get to the hook and without the Parliament sample, it just runs like the verse, so it's like anticlimactic. That it really sets off that motherfucking hook. It turns into like a fucking entrance music for a wrestler if you like were dope enough. At any rate, let's get the chop in this fable.
I'll even add the fact that like Questlove had I think I'm not sure whether he had George or Bootsy on the show, but like they had this one, they made an album. I'm pretty sure like Parliament Funkadelic put an album out for people to sample, and Quest had it. And you know, Quest is the DJ. And he's just like, "Oh yeah, I have that album. It's still like sitting on my dresser." It's like, why didn't you use it? It's for samples. You're in a rap band. And he was like, "Oh fuck." And I'm just like, just like dialed in. It's like, bro, like y'all need to sample this shit. Like here.
Well, that's the charm of the Roots though. All real, no samples. That's been their entire career. They have it, or if they have sampled, it's been like, you know, some type of live sample of some sort. But for the most part, the Roots, all of their music is 100% like composed, all that. Like they just been making hits out of like just having a creative mind. And that's what like has made them relevant over the years. That you can sample the Roots, but the Roots didn't sample anybody to get to that sample.
They say about Philly themselves. So speaking of Philly and speaking of like the church, one of the most important venues in hardcore, let's get to the meat. Um, folks, it's episode 3 of our fun little show. And the focus of today's conversation, today's podcast is hardcore music, hardcore rock, hardcore metal, beat down, grindcore, nothing crazy. Like, just I'm struggling to like find words because I know that I had the link with all 4 songs up and I closed it because I'm a genius. I'm so smart.
We usually
all
record
right
live on YouTube too, so it's like that might have fucked you up.
Here we go. Okay, so today, our 4 bands are End It from Baltimore. Shout out to like Baltimore, like Baltimore, yeah, shout out to Baltimore. Zulu, Kubla Khan from Texas. Oh, Zulu's from California. Shout out to LA. And Turnstile, also from Baltimore. Okay, like shout out to Flat Spot Records.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rise Records. Shout out to Roadrunner Records. We're here. Like, Los himself told me like I'm excited to talk about this shit. And like, if you don't have long, like the songs are short, okay?
Yeah.
Like, but just as a forewarning, you're gonna want to like drop kick somebody through a window when you hear this shit.
Or like kick an old man's cane from off this like
literally like like I keep bringing up like Hard Lord because they're one of my favorite shows. Shout out to Colin and Bo. Shout out to God's Hate. Shout out to Weapons X. Shout out to Harm's Way. Shout out to Twisted Tongues. But just like they were talking to one of the homeboys from Mind Force, and they're from Hudson Valley, and like the vocalist is like a high school teacher, and he's like, bro, like I am a purveyor of just like hardcore martial arts. Okay, I'm kickboxing everybody in that pit. And I'm like, let's go, bro.
They make you elbow drop a fucking car roof, Macho Man style.
Like they happen to have dude from Hate Breed, Jamie Jostin, like, do you encourage the violence? And they're like, we do. And he's like, for legal purposes, I do not. No, of course not.
He said, for legal purposes, I do not. Now he's like, we sure don't.
Nah, facts. He was like, oh, like we started this shit for like the honestly, like for like the geek getting bullied. So like he had like an outlet for like, being so frustrated. And I'm like, I can fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, definitely.
Bro, like I feel like it's so like I say it all the time that like I'm so angry that I left Maryland behind to come to Philly, and like it's like a brand new terrain, brand new city, and like I leave behind all this great music. Do you think I would have left? Like I would have never left Baltimore if I'd known a band like End It, like a band like Turnstile, like Trapped Under Ice. Like if I known any of those bands were like just burning down clubs across the country, I'd never leave. Because like, bro, make me a roadie. Like, let me sell t-shirts or something.
I had to be a roadie.
I have to be involved in this somehow.
There ain't a scene like that in Philly?
There is, but like I don't know anyone yet. All I do is work. You know what I'm saying? I listen to the records, but like I can't really go to shows.
Yeah.
Like all the shows I went to last year were because like friends were like, we have to go to this, you're coming along. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say no.
I mean, if you insist upon it.
Yeah, I'm seeing 2 shows this year because friends like we have to go see them play, and I'm like, I will always come to a show. I almost wanted to go see a band in Jersey, but like transportation alone was being like $100, and I'm like, ooh, that's a bill. I'll have to like, go next year.
Exactly, yeah. That's literally a
like I can look away from paying $50 to see a band, but like I can't fade the $100 of transportation. That's my bill for transportation is $100. I have to go pay that when I finish recording this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, like
shit. Yeah.
I'll get to the gig, but like there's limits. You know what I'm saying? Like I love this music because like it's very DIY. It's like, oh, like one of my favorite like punk bands like MXPX was like, oh, ain't got no money to pay, we'll sneak in anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I like
that bested me like what $5 I had to get into the Johns, and we're gonna sneak in through the back door, bro.
Exactly. We go
pay the cooks.
How little Chris said, we go rush the back door and break it in.
Oh my god, Luda! I'm actually Luda fronting a hardcore band, bro. overall, what are your thoughts on like me playing these songs for you, sir?
Before we get into it individually, I do want to say that this is the best set you've given me so far.
Last.
Yep. I said I listened to it. I was like, yeah, I might run these back at some point.
Go,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't ran back any K-pop songs or anything like that yet. I like it was cool for the project, but you know, with this hardcore set, there was a couple that made me go, I can work to this.
No, for real though.
Like I can work to this music, like, and I'd be active as fuck doing it.
Listen, we have like after today, we have like our hip hop coverage of just like the stuff that I want to put you to that I'm sure that like I'm surprised you haven't heard yet. But then we'll have another 4 doors. So I imagine like door number 4 is gonna be hardcore part 2. You know what I'm saying? Just like fucking stoked. So happy to hear this. Let's get right into it then, man.
All right, so
end it.
End its new wage slavery. So my first
we can relate to this.
My first note was the meme with Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV. I said, Omar coming. I said, I got that reference. Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen The Wire, do yourself. Nah, fuck it. It's about to freeze. We're about to cut off.
Oh, okay. He let me know. He let me know what's gonna happen. Let's take a couple minutes.
Yeah, I saw that coming.
There you are. Yep.
Now, as I was saying, before the internet connection rudely interrupted,
the feds.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen the HBO television show The Wire, do yourself a favor and watch the entire series. To put it in perspective, is it a TV show? Sure. Are there well-known names that you know now that are on that show? Like the likes of Idris Elba, Michael B. Jordan, and so on and so forth. Sure. But they say that The Wire is more of a documentary than a TV show. That's how good it is. Because it's as authentic as it gets. According to, you know, locals. And so, yeah, definitely do yourself a treat, and especially if you like, you know, gangster shows like Rest in Peace, Lance Reddick. He's in there too. Cuz that dude is That's where it originated from. That show. Dude, especially if you enjoy shows like Snowfall and Power and
Breaking Bad,
BMF, and you've never seen The Wire, watch The Wire. To put it in perspective, The Wire is like the predecessor, like the pioneer of the black crime drama, the modern black crime drama. Kind of like how The Sopranos is the pioneer of the minor crime drama in general. The Wire is the pioneer of the black crime drama because it gives you a perspective that isn't of any other culture but our own, because it's such a what's the word I'm looking for? Controlled culture. Baltimore is, or that part of Baltimore. So yeah. At any rate.
Sorry, living abstraction. There's no New York hardcore on this list. We'll save it for next time.
It was on 25th Hour, wasn't it?
I haven't seen the movie yet. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I completely forgot about that. Anyway, next note I had was rap lyrics in the rock genre has historical context, but relatively but
As we speak. New wage slavery. Boom. Here we go. Carry on.
I was saying rap lyrics in the rock genre has historical context, but relatively unprecedented when a real nigga screaming them.
That.
I know all these areas in Baltimore in this music video, and that makes me wonder what kind of person that makes me.
Real.
That being said, 8 out of 10. This has to wind up in a wild party crashing scene in a movie down the line. It's too good not to be. Or like fucking the next season of Letterkenny or something like that. Holy fuck, I love that show. Fuck.
Texas size 10-4. Good buddy.
My man, way to back me up.
Bro, just the image of the homies are sitting in the farmhouse. Someone calls the landline saying, I finna scrap. I pull up then. They hang up the phone, hit a shot, go to the entrance of the farm. There's some goons waiting for them. They slug it out, lose the fight, shake hands, smoke a cigarette, and carry on with the business. Real goon shit, bro. Like that's that gentleman shit. That's that country gentleman shit. I really fucking respect. So, bro, I'm the hardest motherfucker in the whole spot. Nah, but I'm finna fight you though. I come to the crib.
I hate to lose. I hate losing. However, if you outright like dog walk me and then like pick me up and invite me to a barbecue, we cool now.
100%. I'm dying. I am dying for you.
We're cool now too.
Full stop.
Like that's too congenial. You gonna fuck me up and then like not, be like get the fuck out of here or nothing like that as usually people would do, because it's like if I fight you, I obviously don't rock with you for one reason or another, but you like whoop my ass in.
You want to come to a soft birthday party?
But if you like just outright kick my ass, help me up after dropping me, and going, hey man, want some beer and steak? Yeah, I guess I want beer and steak.
Bro, their debate about soliciting the
now.
steak.
Like, I took an L, but there was beer and steak out of this, and we can all laugh about this now. Like, y'all not that's the other thing. Like, other than a couple of occasional references and callbacks, they'll never like they run that fade and like it's all good then afterwards. They friends.
1000%. Well, it's just like that clip of them, like the four of them just like getting to a full ass debate about how to season steak. Just like the quickness of just like S&P is the bud for me and shit. I'm like, bro, like this is the epitome of white culture for me, dog.
They're back and
How are you then?
Hilarious. I love it. So
I wanna quote one thing from from like New Age slavery is like a couple of things. It's like, who gives a fuck about your mission? Will piss all over your hopes and your traditions. They try to play us as some suckers. You'll think twice when we run up in your house, motherfucker. And it's like, we tip the scales in the fight for truth and love. This world's a never-ending cycle of pain. New Age slavery, know that we're not the same. New Age slavery, feel the weight of the chains. Bro, like, best believe I'm swan diving off the stage to that shit. No question.
It moves you. That type of lyricism, it really. That's what I'm saying, dog. Like Griselda and the music that put the battery in your back then. Like,
does anyone care that I'm stressed?
You know what I'm saying? It's just lyrics like that just puts a battery in your back. It makes you want, punch buildings and destroy them.
I'll never forget the day I saw there's a band that broke up. They're called the Chariot, and I saw them play when I was living in Baltimore for radio school. They're going ham, and I'm like, what is wrong with these guys? But I loved it. They were really performing for real. He's like, this is a celebration. People were like throwing their guitars and shit. Dude like did a front flip off the stage, still delivering vocals, and they played like I believe what happened was they're in Australia and they're playing a gig, very just like back at like like hole in the wall gig. It's in like this dude's shop, and like one of the guys, he's feeling the fire. He flies off the stage. He's playing a ripping solo, comes out into the storefront, plays the solo, goes back into like the area, but somebody knocks over a bowl of pears, and so they turn off the power to the venue. And so like I was like, whoa, over some pears, some pears.
Well, hold on. I'm inclined to ask at this point, what the fuck was the bowl of pears just doing there? Like what the fuck is a bowl of pears doing in such a venue?
And so like they like, oh, the show's over, get the fuck out. And they're like, bro, like we still didn't finish the set. And dude's like, come to my house. It's like, oh, can we play in your house? Nah, but you can play on the roof. And so it turns off the camera, shots back up, they're on the roof saying, let's fucking go. Everyone starts moshing under the band while they're playing on a roof of some dude's house in Australia.
That's punk rock as fuck.
This is the shit that I live for. This is the shit that I live for. When we get to Kubla Khan, I have a great story about them at the most recent festival that they played, involving their lead vocalist Matthew Honeycutt, which just lets you know you can't mess with a man named Matthew Honeycutt, dog. The man has no shirt on. He has hair like Jesus. Move out of the way, bro. They're from Texas. There goes old Honeycutt again. Mm-hmm.
I'm laughing because you said Kubla Khan, and then I looked at my review of Kubla Khan. We'll get there.
Before we, not to bury the lead, up next is my pick for possibly album of the year with their record A New Tomorrow. It's Zulu with Where I'm From.
All right. So I said, it's like my brothers and sisters saw those videos of Shmurda while hardcore songs played instead of hot nigga and said, hold on, this concept kind of fire. And is. It is.
Shout out to Eric Andre.
So I also said, I fuck with the breakdowns in this jump. I like a good breakdown. And then which I added, these songs are like short. These songs are short like interludes. I can dig that. That being said, 10 out of 10. I'm going to level with you. This song is only a 7 out of 10. Other than the breakdowns, nothing really impressive. But that video is aesthetically dope as fuck to me. It's fun. It's chaotic. It still manages to mesh with the song itself. Bellissimo.
Oh, rest in peace, Fife, bro.
I love a good music video that goes well with the like music that it's played to. You know what I'm saying? And they did such an excellent job. It's just absolutely fun chaos all over the entire video, and it embodies the spirit of the song.
Bruh, like I mentioned the album it's released. It's their first debut album, A New Tomorrow. Please go check that out. Again, shout out to Flat Spot Records. Like with songs like Who Job Bless, No One Curse, Life as a Shorty, Shouldn't Be So Rough, Fake and the Funk, Music to Drive By, Africa. Bro, this shit is black as fuck, babe. Like the album that really, like the EP that sold me on was My People Hold On. Because I may have mentioned it previously, but like this TikTok I was watching, this white bald brother who loves hardcore, he was like rebuking people in the community, like, hey, y'all motherfuckers can't talk shit about Zulu because they had a shirt they're promoting that said abolish white hardcore, and dudes are in their feelings. And this white man is like, if you're mad about this shit, you're the fucking problem. Get the fuck out of the scene. And I'm like, whoa, I have to check this band out. And I checked out the EP, My People Hold On, and I was like this like 1 minute and a half, just like sister doing like some slam poetry about the pains of being a black woman. And like this came out, I want to remind y'all, in like 2020. You know what I'm saying? Hi to the Panorama. They'd only done like 1 or 2 shows prior to this thing coming out. It sounds so good. The last song, Do the Right Thing and Stop Fronting, it has like a voicemail from like, I think maybe one of the members, like aunties in them, just like be safe when you walk out the crib. Make sure like everyone you're with is on the same type of time. Like these motherfuckers don't like have white privilege, so they're not concerned about our lives, but we gotta be. You know what I'm saying? Jah keep you. Word up. And I'm just like, bro, listen to this black, bro. Black, black, black. Los.
You know what I find very fascinating to that point? White folks develop this space, right? Then they develop the space predominantly to themselves, without the attention of it being predominantly to themselves. But that's pretty much who was into it at the time. And eventually, people of color get interested in it, and they want to work into this space and have a seat at their table. And which, and for the most part, you know, they don't mind them getting into the scene. However, it doesn't stop them from having a couple of things to say about our people being in the scene. And so, not wanting to hear any of it, we pretty much create a sub-scene for ourselves, and they feel some type of way about it. Why do you think we create that sub-scene for ourselves?
Like in the song itself says, we've been here and we ain't going nowhere. And it's like, cause what I found is that like black people create genres, the white folks find it, and it's like we were gonna Cadillac car the fuck out of this shit. And then when it ends up back in our hands as it rightfully should be, oh shit, what did you miss?
Well, I was I was at the end of that part, and I was getting ready to ask. It leaves me to ask, what makes you think that, you know, we just randomly make our own subculture of things when it's a lot of the time, not most of the time, but sometimes it's based off how uncomfortable we felt in y'all space. Why do you think we felt so uncomfortable in y'all space? Why are y'all so like adamant on thinking that you don't make us feel any uncomfortable, especially if we've expressed how and why? Sounds like you should probably give us a listen. I don't know.
Look, cause like recently T-Pain dropped that. Speaking of T-Pain, he dropped that cover album of his, and like the metalheads are obsessed with his Ozzy cover. So like, you be the judge. We've been here. We ain't going nowhere.
And like black people with punk and rock has always been a thing. Exactly. And I'm not saying that we started it or anything like that.
I am.
He said I am.
Yeah, I'm Riley Freeman in this motherfucker.
Hey, I don't 100% know and understand the origins of punk rock as its own genre. So I can't 100% tell you whether or not it started with a black person. But I will say this. You go back to the origins of a lot of the popular genres of today. Black person started.
The blacks. The blacks.
Hip hop. 73 in the Bronx. Sugar Hill Gang.
Bro,
rock.
There's a
1950s. Berry Gordy. Chuck Berry.
Bro, let me say something. There's a band in Brazil, Sepultura. Frontman for like the last 20 years, Derek Green.
Yep.
Tall ass black bro. And just like happened to like try out. And then they grabbed them up. It's like, come to Brazil. You live here now. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. And it's like, bro, like, how, and like, this is a well kept fucking secret. It's like, you have to like be in like just in the mix to know shit like this, know people like this. Howard from Killswitch Engage, like Lejeune from Seven Dust, Skindred from the UK, Skunka Nancy, Kele from Block Party, bro. Don't get me fucking started. Let's move on to Kubla Khan, bro.
Modern R&B. Well, all right. As far as R&B goes, it derives from blues, which turned into soul, which then turned into R&B. With that being said, I pretty much said who invented the blues with Chuck Berry. Well, that goes deeper with Lead Belly.
I really give it to BB King for
at any rate, you get the soul that Aretha Franklin.
However, rest in peace, Aretha,
bro. The inventor of the modern R&B, I guess you can call it the Quiet Storm. Smokey Robinson, black. So
the miracle, okay.
Smokey and the Miracles. That's and I say it attributes to Smokey Robinson because literally Smokey Robinson made Quiet Storm, the album, not only the album but the song itself, the title song, Quiet Storm, legitimately began like boomed an era.
That's a radio format now
of R&B. Exactly. Quiet Storm is his own radio format, and it was started by Magic 102.3 in DC. And or I want to say it was 96 point. No, it was Magic 102.3. So when Smokey Robinson created that song, it essentially extrapolated a bit of a change in the direction of where R&B was going, because it was derived from soul, sure, but it was still soul music for the most part. So it was still a little more upbeat. It didn't have a vibe, if you will. Smokey Robinson gave R&B the vibe. And once Smokey Robinson started that vibe, well, everybody in the soul age looked at that and was like, yeah, we can do that too. And then they followed up. A bunch of bands that were puzzle pieces for punk rock's development were taken from R&B acts. Much like, well, I have no examples for that one. But also,
I'll say this before we move on. In like the scene genre, if we're gonna like talk subgenre and shit, I think of Dance Gavin Dance and Issues. Both bands with frontmen at one point who just basically emulated black singers. Tyler Carter and Johnny Craig, both not in the band anymore due to like scandal acknowledged. You look it up yourself. Trigger warning, content warning for really fucked up shit. But it's like, my argument has been, oh, like people say, oh, these two bands don't sound the same because these two people aren't singing for them anymore. And I'm like, bro, get any black man who can sing R&B half competently on these tracks and nothing changes really. If anything, it's an improvement on such. But like it never gets to that point for these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? The same also, label that gave us Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco, Paramore finally signed like a black woman trio band called Meet Me at the Altar. The name alone is a reference. And I'm like, oh my God, like they need to be the priority of the rollout. Granted, they're very young. So again, I imagine like, you know, like they need like the road experience, whatever the fuck. But I'm already thinking of like booking them on a tour with two other just like black women bands. Cause I'm just like, no, sisters and like non-black men. Not black non-men and sisters need to see these people like on their TV screens at all times, on BET, on Bounce, whatever the fuck, VH1 and shit. Cause it's like, I imagine how many people like never follow their dreams because it's like, oh, like they didn't see themselves. Like in a space like hardcore, you can see yourself. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, just like roll the dice, pick a background. Odds are there's a person fronting a band who looks just like you, who's writing songs about your experience that you really needed to fucking hear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, take that in, why don't you? I may have lost it. Give me a sec. Yep, there we go.
But yeah, last thought on that. Damn, really?
Give me the footnotes real quick. Probably wrap up in half an hour. We only have about like 2 songs left to go. It has been a really weird time for the both of us that we are not getting into.
But yeah, last thought on that part before we move on. Yeah, so like after Smokey set the tone pretty much, you had, Gladys Knight and the Pips and Teddy Pendergrass and Luther Vandross eventually, which
Never
eventually
too much,
becomes
never too
Mariah
much, never
Carey.
too much.
Which, like, you gotta understand, if you look deep enough, the modern artists that you hear right now watering down R&B, they come from a class of R&B singers that were good, and they come from a class of legendary R&B singers. Like, without let's see, without Minnie Riperton, for
Minnie
example,
Riperton?
without Minnie Riperton, there'd be no Mariah Carey.
Yeah, for
And in
sure.
turn, there'd be no Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
And if there was no, I'm trying to think of, soft songstress. If there was no likes of like Anita Baker, let's say, we wouldn't
Sweet
have
love.
we wouldn't have the likes of Janet Jackson, in which we wouldn't have the likes of Janae Aiko.
I didn't even say Janelle. I didn't even say Janelle Monáe. If we're gonna like just talk about just like the.
Well, I mean, just like soft singing, and I guess Anita Baker.
Okay, whisper singers. You're right. You're right. In regards to
Yeah,
whisper singers and
I
such,
guess Anita Baker
like
was
your
that.
scissors and such. Yeah.
But you get my point.
Yeah.
We're right now in like what's essentially like third or fourth generation R&B, and it just would pay to know your history, know where your sound is coming from, because it's not new. It's
No.
just it's just under a new arrangement, under a more modern sound. But again, if you go back far enough, Janae Aiko, Janae Aiko could like sing. That's the way love goes. Janet Jackson can sing. Uh, what's the name of that song? Bed Piece, something like that. I don't know. The point of the matter is that the today's singers, they're not really doing anything that was already innovated before them. So I don't know. Pay some respect. Maybe look back and find inspiration in where your voice like comes from, or where your sound comes from, where it's derived from, and shit. That joke, it'll be better. That's why I enjoy like the likes of like Big Lotto. They're sampling songs from like the '90s and such, because it's like, if when they do it well, like they're not just taking the regular beat and just throwing on a couple of drums and calling it a sample beat or anything like that. They're actually taking the beat and flipping the shit out of it. I absolutely enjoy that, because it lets me know that, all right, there are still mugs within this generation of music that know their history, or at least pay respect to their history and what they grew up on. And that's what I find solace in. However, Kublai Khan.
Real quick. Shout out to Nightlife from Baltimore. Um, do, I would say, like, if anything about our R&B conversation sounds in any way interesting to you, you're like, oh, where the fuck can I find new shit like that? Again, Baltimore nightlife. Shout out to Hansel and all those cats. We appreciate y'all. Texas, Kubla Khan. Listen, I was saving my story for this. There was a Louisville like hardcore festival, LDB Fest, and Kubla Khan was one of like the big names playing, and like they have a song Kubla Khan called Empire. It's like a minute and a half. It's just a breakdown, and the lyrics are "shit, son of a bitch," and like everyone knows the lyrics to the song. And Honeycutt comes out and he does like a mosh call, and he's like, "We didn't come all the way from fucking Texas to see y'all sit in your asses. I need you to enlist, soldier." And like the breakdown just starts kicking in. So Matthew Honeycutt does one thing, goes to his knapsack, which is by like the drums, and pulls out a banana and just starts eating it. Watching everyone is like, why the fuck aren't you moving? He has like the mic around his neck, just like furiously eating this banana.
There's a lot just going on there. Like, all right, okay, Duck, okay. All right, so The Hammer by Kubla Khan. Somehow we've managed not to scare the hoes up to this point, Duck. I know the song's terrifying the hoes because it's unnerving your boy.
No, if anything, like the shorties are spin kicking everyone out the room, 1000%.
Like I was listening to this, and I was just like,
you will never know.
Yeah, so 4 out of 10 was what I gave this. I said, yeah, nah, I had to power through this one. I just had a scrunch face the entire time. Sorry, Duck.
It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay because
I love how at least once every episode you die a little inside for a moment, and then you come to terms when you go, "That's okay."
I can't even talk shit because, like, again, we're not like we weren't the closest in high school, but like we've become close as like the panorama took place, and we're on the same threads quite often. We talk in the DMs and shit. I know enough now, like about like what you're interested in, that I'm like, I don't want to lose him, but like, I need you to understand. And I think with like this, these set of 4 songs, you at least trust my taste enough to like go for a second round when we come to that point.
Yeah.
And now I know what to avoid when we do this again. So that is A-okay.
On the other side of that fence, you'll know exactly what to send my way too, because where I gave you a 4 on this one, we finished strong, Duck. We finished strong.
All right, and then just like speed through, like for everybody else who's like, what the fuck are they talking about? If you go into the description, the 4 songs that I had Los listen to, they're available. And like, just because I really like Kubla Khan, it's like they have songs about police brutality, like forgiving somebody who's murdered your family, like songs about like just like sex trafficking, like really good lyrical stuff. But like it's not all just like mean like arfs and grr music. Like there's real conversations happening in these songs, like talks about like, oh, like just like rage and depression, like losing all your friends as a result of those things. And you can hear in these goddamn lyrics, and like the riffs are thundering, you know what I'm saying? And again,
that I can respect.
Yeah, like it's not all just like dude bro posturing and shit. Like when I was last time in Baltimore to go to a show, like one of my favorite like bands, Gradual Slip was there, and they did like a cover of Terror, and they're like, Terror has been like a big name in hardcore for a long time, and like they have a song called like Hold Tight, and it's about like staying loyal to your friends and like you don't think hardcore songs would be about this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, but like a lot of these songs are like, oh, like about like this being straight edge and like, oh, like not giving into your vices, not just like, oh, let's go fuck some people up just cause type shit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And even like with our last song, Holidays, about bro, like they just want to like just like they want to just like oh, let's turn up because like we're fucking alive. Like that album that song comes from, Glow On. Still, height of the pandemic, they're on the same level as Slipknot, but like they essentially got the bag, and it's like, oh, like we made a great album, but we can't play shows. The minute it was safe in Baltimore to play shows, they did like a free one in a park, and like everyone and their mama showed up, and there were no barriers. Again, no barriers. So folks are just like going for it off the stage, crowd surfing, stage diving, moshing, and dudes like, and like if you've seen like the frontman for Turnstile, he's wearing like Elvis pants. You know what I'm saying? And full on just doing like his Elvis dance with the mic stand. And it's like, this dude's in a hardcore band? Like the bassist, his name is Freaky Franz.
I mean, there was a Dimebag Daryl, so there's that.
Hey, rest in peace to Dimebag.
May rest in peace.
Well, I guess we should just move on to it, bro. Like again, we're back in Baltimore. We're back from Texas. We had a bunch of bananas while we were down there. What are your thoughts on Holiday?
Yes, Holiday by Turnstile. All right. So my first note immediately was, I'm waking up to this song in a stoner movie like Ashton Kutcher and Dude, Where's My Car? Yeah. My next note, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, bet. My next note is as follows. Hey, it ain't cranking.
Oh, okay. I can't believe I forgot about this. This album, right? There's a song called Don't Play, and the outro is like a big ass breakdown, like but like on the back half, it's a fucking go-go breakdown. Like full stop, just like go-go drums. And they play this motherfucker everywhere.
I think I get hit the turnstile.
Well, they're that close to DC and shit, and like the frontman is a drummer. And so like bust out the sticks, and it's just like only for a minute, because like, hey bro, this is all you get. You got to come to DC for this shit.
Yeah, that's
but just like you hear like the whistle blowing and everything, and I'm just like, bro, like
I'm
they really do be cranking.
DC, we don't fuck with DC like that.
I mean, I do, but you know,
I mean, Baltimoreans.
Like, and trust me, it took me a long time to understand that, like, oh, like the DMV does not include Baltimore. Baltimore is its own shit. I get it. I think it's kind of lame, but like, this, I'm a suburbanite, so my opinion does not fucking count. But like, this band, like, they're opening for Blink 182 this summer. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're again on the Slipknot label, nominated for a Grammy this year. The opening slot for fucking Blink after they got back together.
I forgot Blink got back for another run.
This might be the last one, for being real.
I mean,
it's not. It isn't booked as the farewell tour, but like, let's be real.
If it is, and we're
bro. Mark survived cancer for this shit, bro.
We only want to run one more round out of them anyway, so I'll take it.
We come a long way, dude. Like Travis Barker, after that plane accident he was in, he wasn't taking planes, but like after he got married to Shorty, like he's reconsidered. So like this might just be like the last big like Blink tour.
You married Kourtney Kardashian?
Kourtney Kardashian, I think. I need to verify this because I don't remember.
At this point, she's like the only normal Kardashian.
She's like the short one, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the only reason why I know who she is. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, there's Kanye's ex, there's the tall one, and the short one. Chloe, that's who it is.
I used to be big on Chloe, but then she lost the weight and just turned to the fucking worst. And so I can't really get down with it.
Another podcast for another time.
Revenge bod. It's like, revenge is a luxury only Khloe Kardashian can afford. So
that's kind of a bar. I ain't gonna lie.
Only Kardashians can afford revenge. So, but and Kim, she's actually becoming an attorney.
I heard.
So I don't hate that at all. She's actually like
We also
the
learned a
thing
lot so we
about
can
Kim is
destroy it
that
forever.
she took like a dark patch in her life that made her famous and just like took complete advantage of it financially. I can't get mad at it because
It's the American dream, ain't it?
for years I've constantly been asking, what does Kim Kardashian do? Like, what's her occupation? Like, what is she? What? If you see her, she's a celebrity. What is it that she's a celebrity of? You know that Kanye West is a musician. You know Chris Humphries is a basketball player. Like, what do
I
you
forgot about
do
him.
exactly? And now it's like, all right,
She's like the definition in general.
looking back at it, I was pretty much the like an influencing pioneer.
The pioneer for influencers. Yeah. Damn. Oh, who are you? I'm a pioneer. That's a
the
bar. Come
pioneer of
on, Los.
influencing. Yeah. And she took that and she has her own clothing line.
Games,
She
makeup,
was
shit.
making bank off a video game, of a mobile game.
I heard about that shit.
And now is like now to put the like cherry on top to kind of like legitimatize everything as if it hasn't been yet. Following their old man's footsteps. One of them should have been doing that in the first place. But hey,
I was trying to like, I'm like, how can I connect this back to Turnstile? Rolling Stone. I'll say this only because you know, like I'm sure like Kim came up with Rolling Stone quite often in that magazine's runtime. Most recently on the tour where I saw Turnstile for the first time. Shout out to Precious Gem, you know who you are. Turnstile was in LA doing like the West Coast end of their show, and they ended up like at a party with Post Malone and Dua Lipa.
Those are two names that I was not expecting to hear, yet somehow makes sense that I hear it.
No, like, and for those who didn't know, Post Malone is metal as shit. Like, he's always like been a member of our scene, but just happened to go like the white man with cornrows route, and here we are. Got a song with Ozzy Osbourne and shit.
I'm gonna put out white.
When he comes back, I too will jump in on the slander for White Iverson because as many Post songs as I like, I do not like that one at all. Even though I know AI does, so kudos to that. Shout out to Philly. I got you.
Yeah. All right. However, let's get back to it.
Like it's a holiday.
Next note that I took was the optimal rock song to me. Intro, verse, chorus, break, bridge, chorus, go home riffs. Am I a Nirvana Sex Pistols ass motherfucker? Sure. But understand I grew up on Yellow Card, Good Charlotte, and Sevenfold. Madden 2003 to 2007 opened up my genre palette for a bit before Guitar Hero 3 came along.
God bless that fucking game, bro.
Buddy, when I tell you 2003 to 2007 would like really make me go, Robbie's is pretty dope. Like,
I'm fucking telling folks, man.
The Anthem by Good Charlotte. Monsters by Matchbook Romance.
That song is so good, bro. Oh my Christ.
To this day, I still run that.
That song is disgusting. Like, that band deserves so much more justice for that record alone, bro. Again, like Helicopter by Block Party.
Helicopter by Block Party.
My Curse by Killswitch Engage. FCP remix by The Fall of Troy.
Yep. This Disaster and Bleed American by
Newfound Glory.
Newfound Glory did This Disaster. Jimmy Eat World did.
I love Jimmy Eat World so much, bro. Like, they're still together. They still sound great, by the way. Recently, I saw like a clip of them, I think from like the pandemic. They sound amazing because it's still the same dudes from that band. Like, no one ever left. Jimmy himself sounds so good, bro.
Bleed American might have one of my favorite, like one of my top 10 guitar riffs ever.
Bro, they're like
it's simple yet dope.
That album alone, that album is so good. They had to change the name, believe it or not.
I believe it. Nas had to change the name of I believe the name was Nasir, and what ended up being.
Yeah, I remember.
You know what exactly it was going to be named?
Yes.
There
In the words of Amine, if Wayne Black don't say it.
it is. That's the word. So yeah, so like that's pretty much Way Away by Yellow Card. I love that song.
That album, that Ocean Avenue record, easily
Ocean Avenue is a solid album.
That thing, that shit clears.
Yeah, like that. That's why I said like Madden really like put me on to a lot of dope rock music at that time. I was like, yeah, this shit is like I can get down with this because I love the. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So like riff, I love a good go home riff. Like, and this song had excellent go home. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we finally gotten the first true song. This may be the best. I'm a heavy guy. Of I said I love Joe. I want
I'll take it. I'll take it. Thank you, Turnstile. Thank you. 10 out of 10. Give the man a minute. You with me? There you are.
I'm a heavy riff guy. I enjoy guitar riffs. I enjoy riffing jokes. Love is life and life is riffing. Fucking awesome. Yeah. Because it's gonna get stuck in my head at random points of the day, even and its immersion to the song. While it's just the boys hanging out in an abandoned ballpark, I like shit like that. You know what's a football heads.
I don't know if I know that record.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Did you hear it?
One more time, hit me.
You know, it's a fun video. Football Heads by Max O'Cream and Benny the Butcher.
Oh, you know what? I'm so glad you brought up Max though, only because he was on Danny Brown's podcast, and Danny went into like an old man rant about new hip hop, and like he made two specific points about hip hop, and Max was like, "Shit, I'm in the middle," and Danny's like, "No, you belong with us. You're not like them. You're not like the rappers your age. You belong with us." And he was very just like, here's my foot in the sand about this shit. And a rapper like Danny Brown can make those kind of like end all be all statements, considering like his back catalog, his skill, and just overall swag. Plus, he just dropped a new project, so go peep that new release he did with JPEG Mafia. Shout out to Baltimore again. Get Los back. Oh, I still have them. Thank God.
Yeah. The connection really started to get wonky. I don't even know why, because I haven't.
The bill has been paid, Mr. Internet. Make with the good connection. Like I guess before we lose any more steam, bro, like this has been episode 3 of Haystack Hates Your Music. We will hopefully be back. I want to say mid to late April for episode 4. Haystack hates hip hop. Quadruple H. Like, this will be my hardest test yet. Because, like I mentioned at like the top of the episode, like Los is hip hop as fuck. And it took me a while to come around on hip hop. I think I finally knew that I loved it in my heart and soul. I want to say around maybe like either at 2 fixed points, 8th grade and middle school, or my senior year in high school, where I really just like knew that I loved hip hop. Because you sit there like the middle of your senior year and you hear Graduation, certain songs they just hit a little different. Like, I would ask my boy Lardy, I'm like, Lardy, let me see that iPod real quick. And just like that, just like with that beats, just like, good morning, look at the valedictorian, scared of the world while I hop in the DeLorean. It'll do something to you up here.
It puts a battery in your back. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hustle loves as if you're still living. Get on down. Every time that we hit them, good morning.
Listen, man. My thing is, I have an older brother. So while my dad was in a go-go band,
Oh my God, bro.
It's a heavy influence with my brothers. I got tired of go-go real fast, but I couldn't get enough of hip hop. So like whatever my older brother was listening to, I was listening to. And so eventually I like got old enough to where I could like branch out and listen to, other stuff that I may like, or listen to artists that, I've never heard of, that I've only heard about, and see what they're about. And it got to a point where, well, even these days, like me and my older brother will go back and forth and debate and so on and so forth. Because where I kept like progressing and like just delving deeper into the crates, he just kind of like got into Young Thug and
direction than you. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Here's a request. I'm gonna try and have like the set list for our 4th episode done by tomorrow or tonight. I would love to get his input on the songs that I select.
I'm putting it to you like this. He's gonna immediately tell you that all of it's trash. Yeah, no. Like my older brother, he likes a certain set of music, and then at that point, it's like, yeah, no, everything else is trash because I don't listen to it.
If this is the same brother that roasted me during Gorilla Gang, I want no smoke from him. So I get it. Nah, I respectfully decline, sir. I want no beef. I want no smoke.
People tend to not want any, but me, I'll be his Huckleberry.
Listen, I'll book that match.
Especially
1000%.
Especially nowadays.
I'll build a ring in Old Town. Don't tempt me, bruh.
I have watched entirely too many shows that like takes different like methods of insult. So I'm like a shotgun to his machine gun at this point, where he doesn't shut up. All I gotta do is just aim for the head one good time, and he'll shut up.
Hey, he said it, not me. Okay, he said it, not me. This has been episode 3 of Haystack Hates Your Music. I'm Chris Kennard. That's good old Los. If there's one thing we actually hate is, maybe I've said this before at the end of an episode, is motherfuckers without clean water. For those who don't know, I'm in Philly, and today, like, the drinking water is no bueno. Like, you maybe heard the memes about Schuylkill Punch, but like this shit, someone needs to get their act together, and it's the US of A government. So like,
yes, sir.
if you follow us on social media, you'll find my Cash App. If you want to like donate to like my bottled water supply, please do so. Also, one thing I don't like, one thing that we hate here on this show is when you acquire gear, do a show, make it so you don't lose up. Like, make it so that we don't lose the pieces, or that we like extend the warranties to replace the pieces, and make sure that big businesses don't own the small companies to provide said pieces. If at any point like folks were
I'm still
confused or like unhappy about like the goddamn sound of the show, don't blame us. Blame the gear. Y'all know who you are. You know, y'all know who your CEO is.
Yeah.
You bald sack of shit. Where you will have no place to hide when the revolution comes, sir. And you know who you are.
That's right.
Los, anything to include before we get out of here?
Nah, I think we're good here. That'll do it.
That settles it, y'all. Like, please know that, like, Haystack West and I love y'all in the most supportive and platonic way possible. If you find the strength to do so, go to a mirror, go to the phone, go to your phone and be like, I love you, self. For real, for real. Like, nothing ain't gonna fix this world. We'll argue to death, human beings, about religion, politics, music. Where's it gonna get us? Fucking nowhere. But love just might change the tide. That's just my personal opinion, all right? When you leave the crib, if you're in like a crowded space, cover your nose and cover your mouth. If not for the immunocompromised, if not for the children, if not for the elderly, for your damn selves. I don't like getting sick, and I want to live. I want to be 80 years old before I die. So, like, make of that what you will. It's a panorama. Stay hydrated. Wipe your ass. Wash your hands. We'll be back next month. We love you. Los, tell the people goodbye.
Hip hop, hip hop.
Hip hop, hip hop. Yeah.
Hip hop. So then.